There are some things in Japan that need to exist everywhere, like immediately, yesterday preferably, because once you see what Japan has quietly been perfecting for years, you start questioning every other country on the planet. Why are we still fumbling with umbrellas that flip inside out the second the wind picks up? Why do our garbage systems require a PhD to understand? And why does Japan have heated sidewalks that melt snow automatically, while the rest of us are out here with shovels at 6 a.m. like it's the 1800s? Japan doesn't just solve problems. It solves problems so elegantly that you didn't even realize they were problems until you see the solution and think, wait, we've been doing this wrong our entire lives? Today we're looking at 10 things in Japan that absolutely need to exist everywhere. Because honestly, life would be so much easier if these were global. Number 1, reverse umbrellas that close inside out. Let's start with an invention so simple it feels offensive that nobody else thought of it first. Japanese reverse umbrellas. Instead of closing the normal way, with the wet side facing out, dripping water everywhere and soaking your legs, these umbrellas close inward. The wet side folds into itself, trapping all the water inside like a contained water balloon you can carry without consequences. You walk into a building, close your umbrella, and instead of creating a puddle that follows you around like a guilty conscience, the water stays locked inside the umbrella. No drips, no wet floors. No awkward umbrella shake that sprays everyone within a 3-foot radius. It's genius in the most frustrating way because it makes you wonder why every umbrella on Earth isn't designed like this. The handles are often curved or C-shaped so you can hang it on your arm while your hands are full. Some models even stand upright on their own when closed, so you're not stuck holding a damp stick for 20 minutes. Meanwhile, everywhere else, we're still using umbrellas that turn into parachutes the moment there's wind, and then soak everything within a 10-foot radius when we try to close them indoors. Japan looked at centuries of umbrella design and said, what if we just flipped it? And somehow, that one change fixed everything. Number 2, heated sidewalks that melt snow automatically. Japan doesn't shovel snow, Japan just deletes it. In cities like Sapporo and other snowy regions, sidewalks have built-in heating systems that automatically melt snow and ice the moment it hits the ground. You wake up after a blizzard, look outside, and the sidewalks are completely clear, dry, safe, like winter forgot to show up. No shoveling, no salt, no slipping and eating pavement because someone forgot to clear the walkway. The system uses hot water pipes or electric heating coils buried under the pavement. When sensors detect freezing temperatures or moisture, the heat kicks in and keeps the surface warm enough to prevent ice from forming. It's not some experimental luxury feature either. Entire neighborhoods, shopping districts, and train station areas have this. It's just standard winter infrastructure. And the best part? It saves cities a fortune in the long run. No need for endless salt trucks, snowplows working overtime, or lawsuit payouts from people slipping on ice. Just clean, safe sidewalks year-round. Meanwhile, the rest of us are out here with snowblowers, bags of salt, and frozen fingers, treating winter like a seasonal battle we're destined to lose. Japan said, or we could just install heated floors outside, and casually won the war against snow forever. Number 3, color-coded garbage bags by trash type. Japan's garbage system is famously strict, and honestly, it sounds like a nightmare until you realize it actually works. Different types of trash go in different colored bags. Burnable trash in one color, plastic in another, cans and bottles in another. And you can't just guess. Each city assigns specific colors, and if you use the wrong bag, your trash won't get picked up. It gets left on the curb with a passive-aggressive note explaining your mistake. Sounds annoying, right? But here's the thing. It forces people to actually sort their trash properly, which means recycling rates are insanely high and landfills aren't overflowing with garbage that could have been reused. The color coding makes it impossible to mess up once you learn the system. You see the bag, you know what goes in it. No overthinking. No, is this recyclable? Confusion? Just grab the right colored bag and toss it in. Some cities even print calendars showing which trash gets collected on which days, and people follow it religiously. Trash Day becomes this weirdly organized event where everyone puts out the correct bags at the correct time, and the streets stay clean because the system actually works. Meanwhile, most countries have one bin for everything, call it recycling, and then just throw half of it in a landfill anyway. Japan said, no, if we're going to do this, we're doing it right, and somehow made garbage collection a well-oiled machine. 4. Vending machines that sell hot and cold drinks from the same machine. Japan has vending machines on practically every street corner, which is already impressive. But the real genius? The same machine sells both hot and cold drinks, side by side, in the same unit. You walk up on a freezing winter morning, press the button with the red label, and out comes a piping hot can of coffee that warms your hands instantly. In summer, you press the blue label and get an ice-cold soda. Same machine, same spot, zero confusion. The machine has separate internal compartments. One heats, one chills. and somehow they coexist in perfect harmony without turning the whole thing into a thermodynamic disaster. It's so seamless that nobody in Japan even thinks about it. It's just normal. But if you're visiting from anywhere else, it feels like magic. You're standing there holding a hot can of tea in January, watching someone next to you grab a cold Pocari Sweat and thinking, wait, how is this possible? Meanwhile, everywhere else, vending machines are either all cold or all room temperature. If you want something hot, good luck. Maybe there's a coffee shop nearby. Maybe not. Japan said, why choose? And built a machine that does both without breaking a sweat. If you're enjoying this so far, please go ahead and tap like. It tells YouTube you want more of Japan's wonderfully practical inventions. And if you love discovering stuff that makes you question why your country doesn't have it yet, hit subscribe so you don't miss the rest of this list. The next ones are just as brilliant. Number 5. Earthquake-proof buildings that sway instead of collapse. Japan sits on one of the most active earthquake zones on the planet, so instead of just hoping for the best, they engineered buildings that can handle massive quakes without crumbling. The secret? They don't fight the earthquake, they sway with it. Modern Japanese buildings use base isolation systems and flexible frameworks that allow the structure to move during a quake instead of staying rigid and cracking under pressure. Some skyscrapers have giant pendulums or dampers installed inside that counterbalance the shaking. Others sit on layers of rubber and steel that absorb the shock. It sounds terrifying, being inside a building that's actively swaying during an earthquake, but it's actually the safest design possible. Rigid buildings snap, flexible buildings bend and survive. And it works. Japan has had multiple massive earthquakes, and while the shaking is intense, modern buildings hold up remarkably well. People inside feel the motion, but the structure stays intact. Meanwhile, in earthquake-prone areas outside Japan, buildings are still being constructed like earthquakes are a minor inconvenience instead of a life-threatening reality. Japan looked at the problem and said, if we can't stop earthquakes, we'll just build things that can dance through them. And somehow, that actually worked. Number 6. Train station floor markings that organize everything. Japanese train stations could easily be chaotic. Millions of people moving through tight spaces, trains arriving every few minutes, multiple lines intersecting. But instead of disorder, you get one of the most organized transit experiences on the planet. And a huge part of that? Floor markings. Every platform has lines painted on the ground showing exactly where each train car will stop. Passengers line up along those marks in neat rows, and when the train arrives, the doors align perfectly with the painted zones. No crowding, no shoving, just orderly boarding. There are also different colored lines for different train types. Express trains, local trains, limited stops, they all have designated waiting areas so people don't accidentally line up for the wrong one. Inside the stations, arrows on the floor guide foot traffic. Walk this way to transfer. Stand here to wait. Exit through that path. It's like the whole system is designed by someone who actually thought about how humans move through space. And because everyone follows the markings, the flow is smooth. Rush hour is busy, but it's not mayhem. People know where to go, where to stand, and what to expect. Meanwhile, most subway systems are pure chaos. People cluster randomly near doors, block pathways, and everyone just hopes for the best. Japan said, or we could just paint lines on the ground and trust that people will follow them. And shockingly, it works. Number 7. Smart toilets with control panels. Japan's toilets are famous for a reason. They're not just toilets, they're experiences. Heated seats, bidet functions with adjustable water pressure and temperature, air dryers, deodorizer, some even play music or white noise to mask sounds. And all of it is controlled by a panel on the wall that looks like you're about to launch a spaceship. The first time you use one, it's overwhelming. There are buttons for everything. Front wash, rear wash, oscillating spray, heated air. You press one by accident and suddenly water is shooting at you from an angle you didn't know existed. But once you figure it out, life-changing. The heated seat alone is a game changer in winter. No more sitting down on a freezing toilet seat and questioning all your life choices. Just warm, comfortable, and oddly luxurious. The bidet function is next level hygiene. Cleaner than toilet paper, better for the environment, and honestly, once you use it regularly, going back to regular toilets feels like a downgrade. These aren't just in homes either. Public restrooms, train stations, convenience stores, they're everywhere. Japan said, what if the toilet had more features than most kitchen appliances? And ran with it. Number 8. Convenience store fried chicken that rivals restaurants. Japanese convenience stores, konbini, sell fried chicken that's genuinely better than what you'd get at most fast food chains. It's crispy, juicy, perfectly seasoned, and sold hot from a warming case right next to the register. Lawson has their El Chiki, Family Mart has their Fami Chiki, 7-Eleven has their Nana Chiki, Every chain has their own version, and people have fierce loyalty to their favorite. The chicken is made fresh throughout the day, so it's never sitting under a heat lamp for hours turning into rubber. The batter stays crunchy. The meat stays moist. Some locations even offer different flavors like spicy, garlic soy, or lemon pepper. It costs around $2, and you can grab it on the way home from work, during a late-night snack run, or just because you walked past a konbini and remembered it exists. It's the kind of quality you wouldn't expect from a convenience store, but Japan doesn't do mediocre convenience store food. Everything from rice balls to sandwiches to fried chicken is taken seriously. Meanwhile, most convenience stores outside Japan are still selling sad hot dogs that have been rotating on a grill since Tuesday. Japan said, convenience stores should have genuinely good food, and made it a reality. Number 9. Umbrella lockers that dry your umbrella while you shop. Japan gets a lot of rain, and instead of letting wet umbrellas create slippery puddles inside every building, they solved it with umbrella lockers. You walk into a store, mall, or office building, and there's a rack of narrow lockers near the entrance. You slide your wet umbrella into one, lock it, take the key, and go about your day. When you come back, your umbrella is dry. Number 10. Tape dispensers that cut perfectly every time. This one sounds small, but once you experience it, you'll never go back. Japanese tape dispensers are designed so the tape cuts cleanly every single time. No jagged edges, no accidentally ripping off too much, no fighting with the roll because the end got stuck to itself. The blade is sharp and angled perfectly. The tension is just right. You pull, you press, it cuts, and you're done. Meanwhile, everywhere else, tape dispensers are designed like they're actively trying to ruin your day. The blade is dull. The tape tears unevenly. The roll flies off the holder. You end up using scissors just to avoid the frustration. Japan looked at that disaster and said, tape dispensers should just work, and designed them so well that even something as mundane as cutting tape feels like a luxury. It's the kind of small, thoughtful design that proves Japan doesn't just innovate in big, flashy ways. They innovate in every single detail, no matter how tiny. And honestly, that's exactly why these things need to exist everywhere. If you want to see more genius things Japan is doing that the rest of the world is sleeping on, check out the video on your end screen. It's packed with even more innovations that'll make you rethink normal.